everyone, and welcome to another devlog of Prehistoric Kingdom. It is the January 2021 devlog, and it's number 35 already. We can see our wonderful Edmontosaurus here in the background of this header image, and today there are some very cool news in this devlog. We are going to briefly go through it and talk about what's going on, but first, very important things first. It seems that there is already pre-launch alpha going on right now amongst the Prehistoric Kingdom VIP backers, which unfortunately I'm not in because I've been tuning into this way too late, so this is my bad here. But oh my god, it's looming over the horizon, as we can see over here, and I am very much looking forward to. However, there is already said, and I'm gonna spoil this, there's already said that in the next devlog, which is the February devlog, there will be announcement release date of the wonderful alpha. That means it is earliest on March, which is a tiny bit of a, for me personally, it's just not in general, but I would have even loved to have it earlier, but well, that's just my personal belonging. Today, there's a lot of great stuff in here. So first of all, let's scroll down a little bit to see the first wonderful stuff. Work in progress, planar reflections. I love the fact how it is kind of reflected in the water. I kind of love that. It's kind of a little bit like ray tracing, but I think it's also doing a very great job for a game like that. I think we don't need ray tracing in here. But if we scroll down a little bit more, we have the development report over here, which is giving us insight about the fact where we are standing right now. And programming is really focused on the animal behavior. Still, the AI development. We are going to talk about that a little bit further down here. But also, you know, me as a builder, I'm obviously a big fan of it. The modular assets like doors, windows, and awnings. Yes, do it. We need it. And don't forget about the chimneys, okay? We builders, we love chimneys because they can do everything. And audio is the implementation. So we start actually with the audio implementation, AI and locomotion. Locomotion is something actually which is very important, as we all know from Planet Zoo. So that's something very important to look at. So first of all, there will be a lot of different animations, and you can see there will be a variety of behaviors, such as idling, grazing, resting, sleeping, running, walking. And there will be soon, which is not integrated yet, but soon there will be also support for eating, drinking, and socializing. However, for the hadrosaurs, we are including a unique rearing behavior. I think it's when they stand up and vocalize with their other parts of their herd, which is pretty cool. And they say that allows the gentle giants to stand on their hind limbs. From here, they can perform a long-distance broadcast that are audible from across the park. Very interesting to see how that translates into the game. I think this can be something very cool and unique for a game like that, and something to really look into to give the game some cool atmosphere. We get a whole bunch of great screenshots today. Like, oh my god, I don't even know which one to choose for the thumbnail. I mean, you guys will potentially know already because I've done this, but who knows? There's also some more cool stuff about here. When it comes to locomotion, animals now curve their walking path around obstacles like fences to reach their destination. Rather than relying on an animation, the body bends procedurally while the creature turns for a more natural movement. Like, I haven't seen that, okay? I haven't played the game or whatever, but this sounds to me very amazing, because this is something, if you talk about games like this where you have an animal AI, mostly how it works is that animals are based on a set of animations, and these animations are like kind of looping through each other, and then one animation starts right after the other, and there are mostly also like kind of morphing animations that morphs one animation into the other. However, depending on how it is integrated, sometimes this makes animals still look as if they were moving edgy. I think the best way to, you know, kind of compare that for me personally is if you have looked into the development of sports games in the past. If you have like computer football games, for example, the player movement was still angled, you know, when they just turn around, they're always turned by 45 degrees and always look edgy, and meanwhile it looks very much more natural because you have a free 360 degrees movement. Same goes for the animals. If it naturally bends around, you have kind of an unlimited amount of possible animation, I want to say, trains or chains that connect to each other, and so then the movement looks a lot more natural actually than if you would have always the same set of animations for, let's say, a left turn or a right turn. And this makes I think this is one of the biggest leaps you can make. In Planet Zoo, it sometimes works very well, sometimes it doesn't, but it's very interesting to see that they also play around with a system like that, and I'm very, very interested to see that, because there's even one addition to it. So to make our animals even more grounded, we use body and head IKs, I don't even know what exactly this is, to ensure the limbs stick to the terrain and that they look at their things like pathing, destinations, other creatures, and buildings. So this makes sense, because then there is not a weird kind of movement to see when they look in a completely different direction than what they would walk towards. So that's very cool. Individual variation, I think we can skip this pretty quickly. We've talked in the latest update I did on my channel. In case you haven't seen that, it's in the Prehistoric Kingdom playlist. The skin variant with the tone, but also size variant. You can see this one is a tiny bit bigger than that one down here, I would assume, and it is like a tiny bit more desaturated than the one down here. So very interesting stuff. Then we have some audio things. So base level audio information began early January for the Edmontosaurus and Microraptor, adding Foley, breath, and handful of sounds to their animations. So I think we can just skip try this. I don't know if I have the sound. Let me just quickly check if the sound is working as it should. Let me just drag that over so you don't see this, but I think it should be in here and not in the browser. Oh, it is actually in the browser, so you can't hear this. Give me a second. I will actually put that into play for you in a second. And then we can actually do this rather easily. And we are back in here. A second. All right, now you guys should be able to hear the sound. All right, that looked actually very cool. So yeah, you've seen actually how this audio translates now into actual moving images. So very cool stuff here. And they split the audio into two parts, so vocals and family sets. And then by doing this, they're able to produce a large amount of reusable Foley, breathing, and generic sounds that are shared per family of animals, e.g. hadrosaurs, ceratopsians, mini avia, etc. So that's kind of cool, because this is some modular stuff which is very much needed. Then we have a look at some more buildings. So you can see this is the information kiosk over here, which is part of the guest facilities. We have a restroom, and we have a bigger restroom. As you can see over here, it's a family restroom and the normal restroom, so different size. Also, I love the little vents on top of it, or air cons, I should say. And this is like having a bit more of a headlight kind of thing. And this is very cool. We have some fence designs, different heights of fence. You can see we have 2.5, 4 meters, and 6 meters tall. That makes sense. And any escapes are in for a shocking surprise. I mean, if you take the bigger ones, this is pretty much for the, I guess, carnivores and bigger, forks around there that might be able to escape. And then these tiny ones over here are for some smaller ones. And for example, the Protoceratops, no, is it Protoceratops? I guess this is how you would call it. Gosh, I love this image, by the way. And we have this one in small, which I also love a lot. It's kind of cool because it almost goes into a little bit of a pet area. It's very tiny, actually. Something over here we have to look at is, I don't even know how big this is, but it's a kind of a tiny animal, speaking by the foliage around. It's kind of, I don't know, it looks almost like a dog size or something, or maybe sheep. I think sheep is the example they used over here. And now we also have a pre-alpha showcase. I don't even know if we can open that in a bigger window. I'm gonna have to test if that works. Let's have a look. Oh, it works at least somewhat. So you can see this is how one of the habitats look. And what I love the most, and where I'm actually very curious how this works, is this bit over here. This is the cool stuff for me. How is this path made this nice and curvy over here? That looks like something very natural and flowing for me. And from what I've seen in the very early alpha builds years ago that people have played, this looks a little bit different, and I'm very curious to see how that translates into the game. We have to open this a few more times. This is just one habitat. We're just going to open that. This is by Strix, by the way, to give credit where it deserves. Also, the water and stuff looks cool with all the foliage. It looks super natural. I love the coloring. I love the desaturated look of it. It looks very realistic in my opinion. Also good job on the habitat in general, and look at all the foliage and stuff. It looks really cool. I'm gonna say it looks very, very nice over here indeed. Just in general, I really do admire that. Also, like the map looks very cool, like with the skybox and so on, the clouds, very realistic, very believable. There's more to see though, which you can see. We also have a bit more community spotlight over here of some smaller builds. This seems to be built piece by piece. These plants over here look like one-to-one from the ones that I know from Planet Zoo though. Like look at these things down here. I do know them. It's actually as if I would know them. The plants look totally gorgeous indoors, by the way. Very cool. It seems like a hidden indoor habitat. The awnings are in and all these kind of things. Very nice. Created by Ed. We also have another peak in here. This is very nicely done with the fountain bamboo. Some very cool rock sets over here. And I love this shade. It seems to be like a little sleeping place for them. Very cool stuff indeed. And over here we have like a raised viewing gallery, a bit of a nice water area. Look there, we even have the different variants of some reef stuff over here, and reeds are very nicely done. These bushes look cool. Like again, the sky map is very cool indeed. And then we've got even more stuff, and look at the pathing. It looks so natural, like some really dang cool looking plazas over here. And this is really stuff I want to see. This is really stuff I want to see. But yeah, so this is actually the Devlog today. And you can see there's a whole bunch of cool stuff in here. I mean, we could go now over each and every single asset you can see, because there's so much new to see with all the rocks and stuff. We could go through the foliage or the buildings or the single pieces. But, you know, as I can't tell too much about it, I haven't played it, I haven't done anything, I haven't seen anything yet. So I don't know how the piece by piece building exactly works. So I'm really interested to see how that works in detail, because at the moment it could be anything. It could be bigger prefab pieces, it could be tiny ones, I don't know, because we know how talented people are in the communities. So with the most people building, you never can tell if it is like a real prefab piece or if they've just done such an amazing job that it's not prefab. But like, look at these stone. It does. I can't tell, but I think this might not even be a prefab. Who knows? But this is like inside the Raptor habitat, so maybe it is actually prefab. Who knows? But it's still a very good job, and I love the shaders and stuff. It looks good. It actually, this build over here and the picture reminds me of the first Crisis in CryEngine 1, like the moment when you saw the graphics of Crisis. And honestly, for a management game, this is like still a very big compliment to say. So yeah, I'm really interested to see what they come up with as soon as there's more info. I'm gonna cover this on this channel. And sorry for the late night upload. I actually today did something else. It's insane, right? Even though still being in lockdown, we've been out for a long walk today, and afterwards me and my wife, we played some board games actually. Actually turned off all the technical stuff here, and then of course people post the devlog, of course, but whatever. We are here, we've discussed it. I hope you guys are as excited as I am. Now let me know in the comments down below what you are most excited for, and also, are you guys more hyped than before? Because I know that with my latest coverage of the game, many people from the zoo community seem to have discovered this game. So are you guys waiting as much as I am? Because I am. And yeah, tell me what you're most excited about. I would love to know that. But for now, this is it. And stop me from scrolling around because I want to see more. I talk to you in the next one. Stay safe, everyone. Have a good night, or have a good day for the US people. And yeah, see you next time. Goodbye.